Hey guys, hope you're all having a good day. So I'm gonna just pull some cards. We had another weird shift again yesterday. We've kind of been having a lot of like weird shifts going on where it's like you're feeling like one thing and then like the next and then the next, and it's just very uncomfortable. There are weird transitions, a lot of like it doesn't make sense. It's like you get a bunch of clarity or understanding of deeper stuff, and then it's almost just like that goes away. Then you feel like not like yourself, but it almost feels like today, like like I've never felt this energy before. Like I don't even understand. Like at one point I felt like I was in the 50s, which don't even ask me to explain that because logically I can't. And then I don't know, like I have just not been feeling like myself at all. Like it's just very odd. It's hard to kind of explain. Just all my thoughts are still normal and still the same, but the energy that I'm feeling is not the same. Like kind of the way I'm handling things not the same. Just it's weird. And kind of what Spirit's saying is like we're getting rid of some old stuff. So some of you, it might be past life, they're saying. Some of it might be like current life. So that's why if you're feeling a little bit odd, the physical energy stuff is on and off pretty intense right now. A lot of us are doing root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra. There is still some like heart chakra stuff going on, but it's mostly the lower chakras, and Spirit saying like releasing and purging from those chakras. So you might still have some of the other stuff. Like right now, my third eye is tingling. You might still have like activations and things like that going on. And not that any of the other stuff, isn't working or like that. You're not getting energy to them too, but like primarily that's why. So if you're having issues with like backache or groin pain or stomach stuff, digestive stuff, like pressure and stuff like that, that's why. There's a lot of they just keep saying like releasing and purging for the bottom chakras right now, and they're saying like working on empowerment and stability. So a lot of they're saying to me like there's like a veil right now that's over people in this cycle. Like there's this veil that's going on and this illusion that's going on where things look like they're one way, and it's because you're supposed to be having like faith and finding your power in this discomfort and working through everything you've learned. It almost feels like a test, but not like, like a pass fail test, almost like a test to help you get through this, to like really have more resilience and more grounded energy. So interesting. Yeah, just started getting this weird ass beeping. I was like, is that external? I'm like, nah, it's in my head, like in my ear, not my head, my ear. Okay, let's just pull a few cards and say that foundation card almost flew out, but it did not. I'm not going to take those because the way they came out, they did not feel like they came out. There we go. Because they did not feel like okay, those definitely just came out the way they needed to. Wow. So self-love, illusions, what did I just say? Flew out. Divine feminine on the bottom. Okay. Hold on. I'll read the cards in a minute. Because it flew out. Changes, 3 cards together, and then self-love, like... Which is funny because this card also flew out on the ground and they're like, bitch, you're taking that one. So it feels like a lot of the feminines are in this, wow. See, I don't even put my cards upside down. So the fact that the enjoyment card is upside down with confidence underneath it, that's what I just kind of said, which we're going to flip that. But it feels like a lot of the feminines or your feminine energy, depending on your gender, it doesn't really matter. It feels like a lot of like thinking energy. It feels like a lot of confusion. Working through some of like the intuition. So maybe if you've had visions or you've had intuition, you've had guidance, it feels like you're not really getting it. And it feels like you're actually kind of getting the opposite energy of that right now. So it feels very confusing. A lot of you guys feel like you have a lack of passion, a lack of excitement. It almost feels like this child energy. Like, so if you are in this or you're feeling very defeated right now, like feel into your energy and see, does this remind you of your childhood at all? There's a lot of like really deep repressed childhood stuff coming up, a lot of cycles from your childhood that you're probably not even aware of. Like we have a very conscious, like abuse or, like abandonment and that type of stuff, but a lot of deeper stuff is coming up with it now, like where it actually started, where your perspectives actually started, the like subconscious perspectives you have that keep like driving you in the same cycles. Like that's kind of what a lot of people are seeing right now. But some of the energy you're feeling is actually childhood energy. Yeah, and a lot of bloating, by the way. Like, oh God. I just ate like a egg white wrap, which is like 200 calories, like not even whatever. And it's just like every time I keep eating, I feel like I'm fucking pregnant. Like I'm like bloated as shit. I'm like, oh, Jesus. What I'm getting though from Spirit, like even though the card came out like this, like things are shifting, like you are actually planting seeds and you are actually doing stuff. Like you're more so they're saying like you're watering your garden right now, even though you maybe don't obviously metaphorical or maybe literal if you have a garden. Even if you don't understand it right now, there's like this deeper aspect to the shadow self that you're seeing, and you're seeing it to help you with understanding stuff at a deeper level. So probably what's happening is you're probably having this uncomfortable energies, it's uncomfortable pressures, a lot of triggers and towers are definitely going on, conflicts with people, shit like that. And it's supposed to be helping you reflect on what is going on with you internally, your belief system, like deeper things. So that's what's going on with that. But there's also saying like even just in the energies when you're not feeling like yourself is working through it because you already know the answer and kind of pulling yourself out and empowering yourself. So what is it you know and trusting what you know? Like some of it feels almost like old thoughts or old doubts that like maybe other people have said to you or you've even said to yourself where you weren't trusting your intuition, you weren't trusting yourself, you were doubting yourself. So a lot of that's coming up and it's feeling so heavy because they're really wanting you to work through it and like be like no, like you're good. I'm gonna read these three separately because they came out separately. So we got the changes card. We all know we're going through changes. I just saw 555 obviously. See, immediately trust in the process just popped right out to me. Trust in the process. That's literally all they wanted me to say with that one. This, I'm curious. Ooh, I just started getting so dizzy. Hold on. There's like another shift. Oh my God. Whew. These shifts are like extra lately. We got processing, awareness, and illusions. Interesting. Yo. This is like I laugh because like when the cards came out, they came out like this. I didn't see the other two underneath. Okay. What did I just say though? Processing. Okay. I'm going to read it to you, right? Process your feelings and your thoughts. Live in the moment is also, they're having me just like pull the specific cards, but we got awareness, seeing through illusions, facing your shadows, the answers you seek are coming. Deeper, and then like we got the actual illusions card, dig deeper, hidden truths, face your shadows with love. They have me only read specific things. So like this is literally what I said, like we're in illusions right now to help you actually work through your shadows, to help you. So kind of what Spirit's saying is some of you like, it almost reminds me of Stranger Things a little bit, like what they're kind of showing me. It's almost like, it looks like this like cave looking thing, just not as creepy as Stranger Things. And it's like, I'm gonna watch this part 2 of it. I didn't even watch that yet. It's like this, it looks like a cave basically. And it looks like just all like alone, this just like, it looks dark, but not like super dark where you can't see in front of your face, just like dim, very dim, like not a lot of light in there. And it looks like a little kid and just like looking around for stuff like rocks, like and other little things. And what Spirit's showing me is like, this is your subconscious mind. So a lot of your deep subconscious stuff is coming out right now, and it's uncomfortable and it's very scary at times, especially because you're like, present energy, this is not how I feel. But you had to get to this stable place in your present energy for you to be able to go through the shadows and for you to be able to give them love and empathy. And a lot of you, it feels like you're going back, like you're not going backwards. It might feel like you're going backwards. You're going back through old energy where you're feeling the way you used to feel. And it might not feel familiar because you're in such a different energy right now that you might not remember you felt like this. I still do keep getting from Spirit. Some of it is past life stuff, but some of it also is from this life too, where you're feeling through specific traumas, specific events and things that created these deep subconscious belief systems and perspectives. And I kind of talked about this the other day with like the cheating and my thing, but there's something, I'm just going to vaguely talk about it, that kind of happened with me. So, I've always had this fear of being cheated on. I saw it with, in my childhood with my parents. I saw one of them, watching the other person and listening to their phone calls and recording them and doing all this shit. So it made me kind of be very hyper vigilant, where I had to look out for that type of stuff, or where I learned, like, you know, relationships aren't safe, people cheat, all this stuff, right? But then what happened was it just, like, that opened up. Then it was like, okay, well, then there was another piece of it where I'm like, I was with somebody that I helped them open a business, and then I had all these thoughts like they're cheating on me at their business, and it was because this person, one of my parents, had their own business, and they were cheating and pretending like they were working when they weren't. So then I only just realized this again the other day, is that perspective of, okay, well, now people who, like, do stuff like that, obviously, like, not everybody had my own business and I don't do shit like that. So obviously I know this, like, logically in my mind, but deeply, subconsciously, we don't always understand where our fears are coming from or why we're having anxious, paranoid thoughts about people like that, right? So then I started realizing, oh my God, that makes total sense, like, why I used to constantly feel like that. Well, that person that I was in the relationship with also was paranoid. So what he would do is he would try to put cameras up around the house. He would try to track my phone. He would try to do all these things. So it was constantly re-triggering my childhood without me even realizing it was re-triggering my childhood. And I was, like, reacting out of, like, this ego thing, and I didn't even know it until now. And then some deeper shit came up where I was, like, seeing this different pattern, and the pattern that I was seeing was what I had in common with my dad and all these people I've dated is every single one of them is users. Every single one of them did not have my best interests at heart. None of them tried to protect me. None of them actually gave a fuck about my well-being. They were all very selfish, and it was always about them, their needs, and everything like that. So I started seeing that at a deeper level, where I feel like it's not that I don't feel worthy, which is what I've always thought it was. And I think it used to be, until I've changed that, obviously, and I've worked on feeling love and, like, self-love and taking care of myself. But I realized is I have this fear at a deeper level. It's not even necessarily being cheated on. I have this fear of people, like, just being malicious and manipulative and lying to me and just being users. And I didn't even consciously realize that's what was going on. So when people would ask me for something, or somebody, you know, wouldn't answer, like, a message of mine, but then they would ask me for something, it would always kind of trigger me, like, are they using me? Are they using me? Are they using me? And I didn't understand why I had that. It wasn't even like a thing. It was just so normal to me that, like, I didn't even think about it. And that started coming up, like, 2 days ago. And I was just like, oh shit, okay, so really the deeper fear is that I'm going to end up in a relationship with somebody who doesn't have my best interests at heart, who is going to go behind my back, who's going to be manipulative, who's going to lie, who's only going to be there to use me. And then I started reflecting on the relationships I have in my life, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have relationships like that now, because I'm a different person. But I was still subconsciously participating in this story that people are users and all this shit. And then so I realized a lot of triggers that have happened over the last few years with people, and specific people that were safe for this to happen with, obviously, for me to heal this. But, like, even with my dad, like, my dad was at my house, like, he was present, but he had left to go be with somebody else at one point. Like, my stepmom literally was like, your dad doesn't love you, you're never gonna see him again, that type of shit. So she already fucked with my head with it too. So he had left a few times, but then every time we had an interaction or we had nice time together, it was me being his therapist, him using me to help him through his stuff, him talking about his relationship problems from a very fucking young age. I literally have memories from when I was like 5 and 6 of him doing this. And the only time he would do that, or he'd have me go work with him and clean with him. So I would take that as like, oh, he's like this attention, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he loves me, he cares, and all this stuff. And not realizing that my dad was using me the entire time. Like, he wasn't actually emotionally investing in me. He wasn't actually loving me. Like, I learned this is what love was subconsciously, and this is why I've accepted shitty half-ass behaviors my whole life, and I didn't even realize it. Like, you know things at like a certain level, and then you start seeing them in a different way, and you start seeing like the deeper pattern, and it's like, holy shit, it's kind of crazy to kind of see all of that. But yeah, like, I started realizing it goes a lot deeper than that. I just don't want to really talk about other people's personal business and stuff like that, but it goes like a lot deeper than that. And I realized like I've definitely chosen some people in my life in my past that mirrored all of those things. So coming to the self-love part, this is where, as those shadows and those things come up, like, you give yourself patience, you give yourself love, you realize where you betrayed yourself, where you weren't treating yourself the best, where you weren't trusting in yourself. And a lot of people are working through that right now so they can actually make choices that are good for them. But if you notice, if you're in the same cycle, if you notice, you're already making choices from self-love. It's a lot different because it's mirroring those shadows where, oh, I don't trust people. Maybe this person is lying to me. Maybe this person's deceptive. Maybe this person's manipulating me. Maybe this person's cheating on me. Maybe this, and all of these things. Maybe this person's using me. And then you sit back and you go, wait, let me actually go into my intuition. Like, what is it I actually feel? What is it I actually know? And realize that not everybody is actually the same as what you were raised in all of your past relationships. And to me, it wasn't even just romantic stuff. I had friends who did the exact same shit, and I would tolerate it because I think for me, I'm like, oh, but they feel bad. Oh, but this. Oh, but this. Like, no. Like, not, like, no. And that's why, if you guys know now, like, I block people. I'm like, I ain't even fucking giving you an opportunity. If I intuitively feel some shit, I'm not even giving you an opportunity. Like, deuces. Like, I don't even deal with that shit anymore because I'm not giving you an opportunity to manipulate your way out of something. If I can intuitively feel that you do not have good intentions, I'm not even responding to you. There's no reason for me to waste my energy or even deal with it. So because I am in a different place and I'm standing up for myself and I'm loving myself the way I'm supposed to, the people in your life will be different. You're going to let different people in, you're going to attract different people, and it's going to help you heal those things. But as you're healing those things, your inner child is going to resist them. Your inner child and your conditioning and your safety is going to resist them because you've been programmed and you've been operating from these traumas your whole fucking life that you don't even know that you've been operating from. So when you're actually making different changes, it's very uncomfortable. It might feel heavy. It might feel resistant. It might feel like you're doing something wrong, but you're not. And you know you're not because you're doing things from a place of like this soul love. You're doing things from a different place. You're doing things from your heart and what's good for you. And so like that's where the difference actually is. So okay, let me pull a few more cards and yeah. We shall see. Throat chakra. Rest and reconsider. Is that it? Okay. Ooh. We get the lead on the bottom of this, but they don't want me to pull that. We got confront and sadness and isolation. So that card came out the other day too. The energy feels a little bit different from it today. A lot of you guys are kind of in this energy right now where you're feeling kind of out of control or you're feeling kind of stuck. You're feeling almost like that inner child stuff I was saying, like where you feel like a kid, but you are coming out of it. Like what you're doing is you're facing your shadows right now. Like, and I've been saying this, like your inner child, your shadows. And I love that this card came out because it's literally this exact message, like in the picture. Like you're learning how to face those shadows and confront them and not run away from them. And it feels like if you're trying to run away, spirit is not letting you. They're showing up in your dreams. They're showing up in triggers. They're showing up in like relationships with people that are safe, that are inconspicuous, like ways that they're doing it to help trigger for you to be like, all right, what's going on? With this throat chakra and rest and reconsider, some of you, it feels like not saying certain things right now, learning how, when I should speak my truth versus when I should give this space and like let things change. And it feels like some of you guys are learning this right now, like when I should say something versus when I should not say something, and learning how is this me standing up for myself? Is this me chasing something? Is this me trying to get validation? Like asking yourself these questions. For some of you, it feels like there's something else going on with you where you're feeling conflicted is not the word, where you're overthinking. That's probably a better way. You're overthinking about something. It's like you know what choice to make, but you feel stuck making it because you're not seeing something outside of you. It's like, you know you want to move forward with this, but there's kind of this fear of the past repeating itself. And it honestly feels like you guys are getting triggered with this, where it might seem like the past is repeating itself, even though it's not. It's kind of honestly kind of what it feels like is exactly what I said, where like I had people who've used me in the past who have reached out to me because they needed something, but they didn't really care about what was going on with me. They didn't really care about me. And then like this actually happened a few days ago where somebody had asked me for something, and I was just like out of nowhere, and it triggered this a little bit for me where I'm like, are they using me? And I was like, okay, I already know they're not using me. Like, it's okay for somebody to ask for something and not want to start a conversation with you just because they need something in that moment. Like, that's okay too. So that definitely triggered some of my old stuff where like I had to go and kind of process it and see like, okay, do I really actually feel this way, or is this my inner child being triggered right now? And it was my inner child being triggered. If you're not at that place where you can figure it out, like those are the type of readings I'm going to be doing in the future, but I'm not doing them right now. Where I'm going to be helping people like understand how to get into that energy where you can figure these things out for yourself, where just spirit is just like said talk about it, but like we're not doing it right now. But if you're kind of in this energy, I'd say just ask yourself reflecting questions. Just say like, you know, what do I intuitively feel? Does this feel like truth? And don't worry about being wrong. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, it's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to be wrong. Just because one thing's wrong doesn't mean everything's wrong. So yeah. Anyway, I hope that this message helps, and I'm wishing you guys so much love and light.